We are beginning today's Shiur in the beginning of Siman Kuf Nun Bais on page Lamed Daled, which is the page following 66. Siman Kuf Nun Bais is Shelo Listor Shum Beis Haknesses, that one should not destroy any shul. The Mechaber says in Sif Aleph, Ein Sosrin Beis Haknesses Kidei Livnos Beis Haknesses Acher. One is not allowed to destroy a shul in order to build another shul. Shema Yera Lahem Ones Shelo Yivnu Ha'acher, because an ones might happen and it might not come to build a new shul. Elobonim Ha'acher Tchila. Rather, if you want to destroy a shul and have a new shul, you must build a new shul first. V'achar kach sosrim hayoshan, and after you build a new shul, then you could destroy the old shul. The Ramah says, "V'afilu lo ratzu listo rak mechitza achas laharchivo." Even if your plan is not to build a whole new shul, you want to just take down one wall to widen the shul to make it a little bigger. Nami dina hachi, you can't take down the old wall and then build a new wall. Rather, you have to first build a new outer wall, and then you'll take down the old wall. Says the Mishna Berura Sivkot and Aleph Beis Haknesses. Again, the Mechaber told us, Ein Sosrim Beis Haknesses, who do not destroy a shul in order to build a new shul. V'hu adin Beis HaMedrash, the same din is true about taking down a Beis Medrash. Ubein shel yochid o shel rabbim, and this is true whether it's a Beis Medrash or a Beis Knesses of an individual or of the rabbim. Either way, you cannot destroy the shul or Beis Medrash before you build a new one. Kidei livno sivkot and beis. Rotzalomar means to say lo mi boya im ein daito livno so achar kach klal da'aser. Needless to say, if you want to destroy a shul with no plans of rebuilding another one, for sure that it's aser. Ela filu im sosro kidei livnos acher b'mekomo. But even if you're only destroying the first shul in order to build another shul in its place, o b'makom acher, or in a different place, the aser that is also going to be aser. Va'afilu im daito livnoso ata bigodel pe'er v'yofi. Even if you plan on building a more beautiful structure, still you are not allowed to take down shul number one before you build shul number two. Even if you want to make it beautiful and you have great plans, it is not allowed. Sivkatan Gimel. Kedei livnos Beis Haknesses acher, v'hu adin lasos menu Beis HaMedrash nami aser. Even if you want to take down and destroy a shul in order to build a Beis Medrash there, that is also aser afal pisha kedushaso gedola yoser. Even though, as we're going to see shortly in Siman Kuf Nun Gimel, we hold that kedusha of the Beis Medrash is greater than the kedusha of the Beis Haknesses. Still, says the Mishna Berura, you can't destroy your shul even if your plan is to build the higher kedusha Beis Medrash. And for the same reason that the Mechaber mentions over here, that we're worried an ones might happen and you might not come to build that Beis Medrash that you're planning. Kasvu ha'achronim, the achronim right. The same din that we're saying over here applies as well if you have a shul that you don't own but you're renting it out. You're renting a shul for a certain amount of time, and you plan after a certain amount of time to rent a new place afterwards. You can't end your rental of place A until you lock in your rental for place B. It's the same idea. We're worried that something might happen. You might not end up renting place B. So the same way you can't destroy the shul in order to rebuild it, you have to first build a new one, then take down the old one. If you want to rent a new space, you can't stop your rental over here until you begin your rental somewhere else. Sivkot and Daled, again, the reason for all these halachos is Shema Yera Lahem Ones Shelo Yivnu Ha'acher. The concern is some kind of ones might happen and you might not come to rebuild the shul. Says the Mishna Berura, "Va'afilu im hayu kfar hamos gevuyim letzorach kol habinyan." Even if all the money was already collected for the whole expense of the building, u'manochem bi'ad hagabay, and it's in the hands of the gabay, so mamish, everything is already set up, all the money is right there. Va'afilu ha'avonim va'akoros, and even if the stones and the beams, v'chol tzorchei habinyan muchanim, and all the needs of the building are all prepared, afilu hachi aser, still it is aser, because doma misrami luhu because you might come upon a case of pinyan shvuyim that you have to redeem some captives, and then you can end up giving this money or these beams or these stones, you're going to sell them, and you can use that money to redeem the captives, and therefore there's no guarantees, and that's why the halacha is the new shul must be built before you take down the old shul. Interesting note over here at note number 2, K'muvur b'Shulchan Aruch l'kamon, like we'll see in greater detail in the Shulchan Aruch in the next siman, sha'af sh'l'shar dvar mitzvah ein mochrim es ha'avonim va'akoro shekonu l'tzara binyan beis Haknesses. Even though for other needs of a mitzvah we will not sell the stones or the beams that we bought for the needs of building a Beis Knesses, l'tzarech pidyon shvuyim mochrim af im hechinum v'hiskinum kvar l'tzarech binyan beis Haknesses. However, when it comes to pidyon shvuyim, we do sell whatever is prepared for a shul in order to redeem the captives. Ubetam adavar kosav Shulchan Aruch. The Shulchan Aruch in Yardei explains the reason she'ein locha mitzvah gedola kepidyon shvuyim. There is no greater mitzvah than pidyon shvuyim. So even though if the beams and the stones are all prepared or the money is collected, you're not going to use it for other mitzvahs. So if a pidyon shvuyim, we are going to use it because that is such an important mitzvah. And therefore, there absolutely is no guarantee. It has to be that you build a new shul before you take out the old one. Having the money collected, having the materials prepared is not going to be enough. Sivkot and Hey. The Mechaber said again, the problem was Shema Yera Lahem Onesh Shalo Yivnu Ha'achir. An accident might happen and you won't come to build a new one. V'nimtzu omdim below Beis Haknesses, and you'll end up being without a shul. Va'afilu ikaluhu duchta letzaluye be'ez makom, and even if you have another place that you could daven in the interim, nami aser, it is still aser to take down the shul before you build a new one, even though you have another place to daven. Ay v'heicha de'ika od Beis Haknesses kavua bi'ir, but what if you have another Beis Haknesses that's kavua in this city, and that shul is able to fit everyone from that shul and everyone from this shul? Can we then take down the shul before we rebuild a new one because we have somewhere to go, even if we end up not building the new one? So at Taz Matir, the Taz says, in that case, it in fact would be mutter. The Magen Avram says all cases is aser. The Ayin the Bir Halacha, look in the Bir Halacha where the Bir Halacha writes that the Iker is like the Taz. But he does write at the end of the Bir Halacha, the V'maskel shelo yivnu ha'acher, in the last two lines, he does say, Al kol zeh dafka in beis Haknesses hakavua yesh mokom l'kulam berevach lehispalel. It has to be that this other shul that's there is totally open and spacious and has mamish room berevach for everyone to daven. The ilav hachi, because if not so, nearer the lukui alma aser. Then it appears, says the Bir Halacha, according to everyone, it would be aser. So if you have a huge shul that's there, you want to take down another shul to rebuild it, so then the Magen Avram says that it would be, the Taz rather says it's mutter, and the Bir Halacha says we would actually go with the Taz if the other shul is in fact spacious enough to fit everyone. Continues the Mishna Berura Vayter Sivkot and Vav. We said, Bonim ha'acher tchilu, we first build the new shul, then we take down the old one. Hainu zakta Mishna Berura shegomrim osa kula. It's not the pshat that we just start building the new one. You have to mamish complete the new shul totally. V'af shelo hispalu adayin ba. But it could be even that you didn't daven in it yet. You fully built the new shul, but even though you didn't daven in it, then it would be okay. Mutter lister ha'yeshana, then you could take down the old shul. Then we're no longer worried that something's going to happen. You're going to come to sell the shul. Once the shul is mamish fully built, so even if you didn't daven in it yet, then you would be good to go to take down the old one. Now what about pidyon shvuyim? So if you look at note number 4, he writes, Tzara pidyon shvuyim kasav l'kamon. We'll see later on in the Mishna Berura she'meikar adin mutter limkor es beis Haknesses af la'achar shegamul livnoso. Really, meikar adin, you could sell a fully built shul for pidyon shvuyim, so you really should have the concern even if the shul was completed. Ach mikol makom ein roi lasos came, but it's not the right thing to do. It's not right to do that. Elo yigvu es hamos min hatzibur. If the option is only selling a shul that's fully built for pidyon shvuyim, we say better not to do that. Better to make a special collection from the tzibur to redeem the captives. And therefore, the Mishna Berura is telling us that once the shul is 100% completely built, even if you didn't daven in it, then already you can take down the old shul. We are not concerned again for any ones that's going to happen because the shul is done. Sivkotan zayin v'achak al-sosrim, then we take down the old shul. Kasav Magen Avram b'shem Amasas Binyamin. Da'afilu haya ha'beis Haknesses shel krochim. Even if the shul that we're discussing that you want to take down is the shul of a city, d'mevur lakamon b'simin kufnun gimel sev zayin da'anshi ha'ir ein yecholim l'mochro b'shum gavni. We're going to see later on in the next siman that the halacha is a shul of a city is not allowed to be sold by the members of the city no matter what. Because a shul in a big city, Mistama was built on the mindset of everyone. Maybe there's a person that once donated to the shul, he passed by in a business trip, he davened there. The shul really belongs to everyone because it's a big shul of a city, so you're not allowed to sell it because maybe one person on the other end of the world is not happy with the sale. But Zakta Mishna Berura hacha shari. But in terms of destroying it and rebuilding it, here it's mutter. The mistama kol hola merutzim lazet. Because mistama, we could assume the whole world is happy with this. Kevan shebanu lahem beis Haknesses acheres tachazet. Since you already rebuilt a replacement shul, so no one would have a problem with it. So when it comes to selling a shul of a city, so you have to get everyone's approval, and there are people that are outside the city all over the world that might have a chelek in the shul, and therefore you can never sell it because you can never really get everyone's permission. But over here, when it comes to destroying it after you rebuilt a new one, then we could say mistama, everyone's happy with it because l'maisa they have a newer shul to daven in. And finally, Sivkot and Ches, on that which the Ramah told us, even if you only want to destroy one wall of a shul to make the shul bigger, nami din hachi, it still has the same din that you must absolutely first build a new wall and then take down the old wall. It says in Mishna Berura Sivkot and Ches on the top line of page 68, she'ein sosrin hamechitza. We do not take down the old wall. Rather, we build a new wall on the outside of the old wall. And then we take down the old wall. The Bir Allah does write that he seems to think that based on most of the Rishonim, it's only if you're able to do that. Not every case, when you want to make the shul a little wider, are you able to build a wall outside the existing wall and then take down the inner wall. That might be difficult. This is only discussing if it's efsher. It says according to most, if it's efsher, you would be allowed to take down the old wall before you rebuild a new wall. We'll stop here and continue with the rest of the Siv and Mirz Hashem in the next year.